Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the semifinals here for the 2004 Ever OSL. I am Moletrap coming at you with some StarCraft commentaries here that I think are going to be absolutely crazy, insane, awesome. I'm so looking forward to the rest of the Star League. We're starting off here with Reach versus iloveoov, and this is going to be Reach as the Protoss player down in the bottom right of the map, Mercury. He's going to be playing against iloveoov, who I will probably just call Oov for simplicity's sake, up in the top left of the map as the bluish Terran. And this is going to be fun. This is gonna be fun. So I got a few things I want to tell you guys about these players, and they're showing you some stats on the bottom of the screen right now about these guys' records, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit about what I've researched to kind of not translate that, but to let you know the situation. So first of all, let's talk about Reach. Reach is, I mean, if you're not aware, I mentioned this in previous games, but he's the hero. He's the hero Protoss, right? He is the man toss. He's got all kinds of nicknames, but he's considered the hero toss because there was a time when Boxer was considered almost undefeatable, and Reach beat him. Right, and it's kind of like beating the top Terrans is part of Reach's legacy, right? He's just an absolute beast. And here's the other thing, though. If you look at his record, he actually has a 56% win rate versus Terran in his entire career, right? But in 2004, this game was played in November, actually, of 2004. If you look at this moment in time, and you look at only the last 6 months, his recent play versus Terrans, it's 76%. 76% win rate versus Terrans in the last, 6 months or whatever. So that is crazy. That is crazy. I'm actually just gonna double check on the side here while I'm sorry, 70%. 70% is crazy, but that's an insane win rate. And we do have Oov just kind of making a little wall here with his barracks, and we have standard opening here, just gateway into core for Reach. So nothing too interesting going on just yet. We'll have to see if and that it's in a nice spot, by the way. He can actually build a marine behind that barracks if he wants to, in case he's worried about any kind of harassment by zealots. But it looks like he's not even going to build that marine, because the thing is if a zealot comes up to that front door right now and starts knocking, he can actually build the marine before the zealot finishes knocking on the door anyway. So it looks like he actually has gone ahead to make a marine, but not before his factory was started. So that's kind of a good move there. And now the marine can protect this SCV, which is getting poor SCV getting assaulted by the probe. So anyway, let's get back to Reach's record real quick. Here's the thing, though. Reach has been winning 70% of his games recently against Terran players, but he's also beaten all of the best Terran players, right? In the last 6 months, he's beaten I guess if you can see seven months, he beat Nada, he beat Control, who is a very good Terran player. We don't really hear much about him because his career didn't last too much longer after that. And of course, he just recently beat Zelos, right? So super strong. He's basically going through taking out all the top Terran players this year in 2004. Except if you look at his record versus Oov, they have actually played against each other 5 times, and Oov has won 4 of them. And their last game that they played against each other was in June, and that was part of the Gillette OSL, the previous OSL, and Oov actually did beat Reach in that OSL. So, Oov seems to be, the one that can take out Reach recently. So we'll have to see that if that's the case today, though, because Reach has taken a game off Oov. In fact, just previous to that, I believe, in June, there was another game that they played in a MSL prelim, if I remember correctly. We're getting robotics facility tech and dragoons running across the map, by the way, and another gateway being added. So no quick expansion or anything like that going for Reach. He's just going to go for what used to be very normal play, which is the one base tech. And OOV in the meantime though has 2 factories, and I don't know if Reach is going to be expecting this. If he did expand, this would be horrible for him, but he hasn't expanded. So OOV instead going for 2 factories here, and might be going for an early push. And will Reach be prepared for this? It looks like probably not, because he's just building his robotics facility. If he goes into observer tech and makes an observer first, then he might just die, because that's a lot of money and time and resources put into, let's see what he makes right here. He makes an observatory. Uh-oh. That could be very bad, because now he's, I mean, maybe if he was making a shuttle and a robotic support bay, and he was able to get a shuttle and a reroute before these tanks push, you know, theoretically he could hold this off, but it's not looking good for him at all, actually. OOV now pumping out a bunch of vultures. He's got double upgrades going on those vultures as well, so they're going to have speed and mines. It's a really strong push. You know, you push out with maybe a couple tanks with siege tech and follow up with vultures. And the vultures are so fast that they can catch up to your push. So, you know, usually if you're going for an attack, actually it looks like he's not actually going for a big push after all right now. He's just bringing these vultures out, and he's just got 1 tank. So remember, for some reason I thought he was going to go for a bigger push here, and instead he's using this as some harassment. Now this could be a kind of a bait. Oh, lets the mine finish it off. The fadeaway kill for those vultures. It could be some kind of a bait where he's saying like, okay, this is 1 factory vultures, and you know, and again, you know, I could be completely wrong about how either player is reading this. This is just, you know, it's one of the fun things and one of the hard things about casting these games from 2004 is I just don't know the meta and of this time period very well. So it could be that Reach is completely reading this correctly and saying, okay, well, 4 vultures, there has to be 2 factories. But the fact that he's not pushing out at first, he's just going out with these vultures is kind of early harassment, and now he's getting the tanks and stuff as well to follow up. We'll have to see how this goes now. The Nexus is going down for Reach. Now we could just see, okay, yeah, I was going to say, we could just see him using this to expand off of, because, you know, I got caught off a little bit because, you know, oftentimes if you have 2 factories in 2020, it's an attack. In 2004, it could be, you know, 2 factories just to be safe into an expansion. So very different style of play. But it looks like we are going to get into a macro game after all. I got a little bit excited there. Apologies for that. I got excited. Thinking there was going to be a push going on, and there was no push. He could have theoretically done so, but it would have been hard to pull off on this map, actually, because it is kind of a long map, and you do have a very small choke point at into your natural to defend. In any case, so let me go back to talking about the stats of these players a little bit here, because you know, I was talking about how Reach had taken out all the best Terran players, or most of the best Terran players recently, and was just such a strong player. Well, remember when I said 76% was I misspoke and said Reach had 76%. Well, OOV actually does have a career in 2004, at the time of this game, a career win rate of 77% against Protoss. He is actually just a beast. I mean, that's the thing, is OOV is this superstar that has just come out of nowhere in the last year and a half, and is just creaming everything and everyone, and just playing super strong, and it's just amazing to see that he has that high of a win rate. And you know, you don't even have to go back and say, well, he's been doing that last 6 months. He's been doing that for, you know, the entire year and a half. He's had that kind of win rate, so it's kind of ridiculous. And in the same fashion, actually, OOV has been taking out the Protoss Kings. The last big series that he played against the Protoss was the MSL Finals against Kingdom, and it was looks like a best of 7 that he won. Actually, looking at the record right now, it looks like he won. Oh, okay, no, there was some other games before that. So yeah, oh, sorry, it was a best of 5 that he won 3-2. Yeah, so OOV beating Kingdom. Looking, you know, he did lose 2 games, so that was close, but beating Kingdom, and before that, in the same MSL, he beat Nalra 2-1, right? So, taking out the biggest Protosses one by one. Those are basically the other 2 top Protosses of this age were Kingdom and Nalra, and OOV has gone through both of them, and of course, like I said, he's also beaten Reach in some other games, but not in a best of series. So, you know, that's kind of where we stand here. These two are both absolute beasts at this matchup on either side. They both have taken out, in best of series, some of the other best players of the same race in other Star Leagues and other situations. So this is the ultimate TVP matchup is kind of what I'm getting at here. This is absolutely going to be an epic semifinals. Even if it's 3-0, it's going to be epic because these guys are so well matched. I think they're just so strong. This is the ultimate challenge for each of them in this matchup, and I'm just so stoked about this. And we do have OOV pushing out here with a sizable chunk of tanks. We've had, and I've kind of been trying to get these stats out of the way, so I'm sorry I've been missing a little bit of the action going on the map because I've been, I mean, you guys can see it happening, so I don't need to necessarily point it out at this point, but I wanted to make sure that we set the stage with the situation that we have ourselves in this matchup before we get into this, because this is just the first game of a best of 5. It could go to 5 games, and if that's the case, I want you guys all to be aware of how epic this situation is and have that as a context. And we do have OOV moving out here with a strong push, but as I was thinking, he's actually just using this to expand off of. Reach has expanded as well. He's actually already sending probes from his extra probes from his main over to that new expansion in the middle of the map. And those middle map expansions are the next sort of logical place to go because it's the shortest physical distance from your natural. But the middle expansions are a little bit hairy. They're a little bit difficult to defend because you can come at them from either side. And so we've seen that in the past. Sometimes players will send units down one side of the map and not the other, or especially if it's I don't know what you call it, perpendicular positions instead of cross map positions. That means that you usually favor one side of the kind of circle in the middle, the diamond in the middle. You can go around either way. And anyway, we'll see if that becomes a factor here, that there's kind of 2 different routes to take. And you actually saw OOV kind of pressuring down the left side of the map, and now Reach sending his forces up the left side of the map to kind of meet it. And now OOV falling back to that expansion as well. Now this is an interesting, I feel like this is a better spot for OOV in this longer macro game, because I feel like OOV can kind of set up his tanks in the middle there, and he can still use that to protect more expansions on the sides relatively easy. I guess Reach can kind of do that too, but Reach's army is going to be more mobile, obviously. And here we have some vultures coming in to do a little bit of harassment. He needs to be sure not to mind drag into those probes. There's a lot of vultures here. He's actually kind of, well, no, the vultures could just fall back north. So I mistook where that was for a second. Just going in, getting some free probe kills, planting a couple mines down, running away. So, and he actually, I don't think he lost more than 1 or 2 vultures there, if any. So very, very strong harassment there. Not, well, very efficient harassment, effective harassment, I should say. Maybe not strong, because he didn't kill a ton of probes or anything like that. And, but yeah, I mean, OOV is the cheater Terran. He is, he's not actually a cheater, by the way. That's just the nickname that he got because he was so good at macro. So much better at macro than anyone else at the time, that he just seemed to kind of create armies of units out of nothing when you weren't looking. And here he is basically having 3 bases, which he can use to just make a ton of units. And now we have Reach actually going to try and take another main base over here. This is interesting. He's put down pylons as a block to make sure that vultures can't run in. He's going to put down a nexus and then probably a cannon behind those so that vultures can't just run up and kill the pylons as well. So yeah, Reach is just basically saying, all right, well, this is gonna be macro. You know, that's what you have to kind of do. If a Terran comes to you, you can catch them while they're moving and defeat their army much more easily than you can trying to plow into the Terran's defensive position. And so, and oh, we've got a fleet beacon, ladies and gentlemen. But hold that thought. OOV is pushing out here, and again, this is what I was thinking is, I don't think he's going for an attack. He's posturing on the left side of his map, but this is what I was thinking. He's actually doing this to protect that left side of the map so he can put another expansion up on the left side. But what I was getting at is, you know, you guys may know this already, but, you know, you can't really plow into a Terran, especially on a map like this. The chokes are so small, like, there's no large open area that you can just surround the tanks with and try and get zealots coming in from all sides or anything like that. So it's so difficult to go move into a Terran on this map that your best bet is kind of, oh no, he can't use that shuttle. Oh, that was close. That was close. I'm sure there are zealots in that shuttle. So that would have been a huge loss if he actually lost that shuttle with all the units inside it. He still needs to be very careful though, although we haven't seen any Goliaths yet. And hopefully we do see Goliaths yet for OOV's sake, because there are 3 Stargates. There's 2 Stargates there, a third one going up. He is going to be switching into carriers, and you know, that is the way to answer the Terran, saying, I've got tanks, can't touch this. Well, guess what? Carriers may make it hammer time. You definitely can touch the tanks with the interceptors from very far away without much danger. Even if there's Goliaths, you can still do that. But if there's no Goliaths, carriers can just come in and rampage across the Terran army and just kill everything. And then you sweep in with your ground army and finish things up. And there are the Goliaths. Okay, so he has spotted it. I wasn't sure if he had actually spotted that carrier tech. But it's very typical for Terrans to do the occasional scan in the Protoss base to try and find new tech that's coming out. It's also just very typical for Protoss, especially Reach, I believe, to switch into the carriers. So not a big surprise there. He might even just get the Goliaths just because he's expecting it, or to, you know, to deal with the shuttles and that kind of thing. So we're seeing a little bit of their first-person views here, just to get a little taste of what they're going through, what's going through their minds as they're moving around the map. Reach engaging in battle whilst also setting up a new base on the side. And it looks like Reach is up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases. Some of those are still under construction, but 6 bases. And hold that thought. He is actually moving into OOV while OOV is moving out. And this is a perfect opportunity. He drops off the Templar. They double storms a huge chunk of tanks. A massive amount of storms going down on all the tanks. OOV is in great danger right now. All of his tanks have been stormed. He's trying to move in, but does he have the zealots to deal with it? He doesn't actually have the zealot army on the ground to follow up. They've all been killed. The Dragoons are not enough. A huge blow to OOV though, losing almost all of his tanks. Those were beautiful storms. Oh my goodness, that was epic. Reach is such a legend. Oh my god. Reach basically hiding his Templar in the shuttle. I mean, obviously we could have expected that, but I was thinking it was maybe just zealots that he was going to drop. Hiding the Templar, he didn't have any Templar within view, and kind of maybe even spooked OOV into thinking that, you know, that he didn't have any Templar in that army or something like that. And the thing is, OOV was trying to push down the right side of the map, right? I think it was the right side, maybe it was the left side. Trying to push down that side of the map, and while he was doing that, he got caught. Right? And Reach actually found a moment where he said, okay, well, you are unsieged. I can attack you right now. You're a little bit vulnerable. And OOV was kind of forced to, like, panic siege. Like, oh, crap, I'm under attack. I need to siege up all these tanks so they can be more effective. And he did siege up, but that meant that they were clumped up because they were moving. He didn't space them out or anything like that. So the storms were just a perfect follow-up. And now we have these Goliaths coming in and attacking the left side base. OOV said, look, you know what, you don't have enough to challenge me because at the end of that battle you backed off, and so I know you don't have enough to challenge me. I'm going to counterattack against one of your side bases. And Reach says, alright, well, if all your Goliaths are on that side base, you can't protect your other side base because now your Goliaths aren't over here, because now I'm going to show you my carriers. And here they are, coming out and attacking a turret to start off with, and they're going to have a prime position to move in and start attacking the base that's over there as well. And again, you know, posturing with the ground army at the same time. There he goes in, and actually it looks like Reach has, OOV has either brought back his Goliaths, or that might be that he sent some Goliaths to the left to attack that base and kept some back, or those might have been his reinforcement Goliaths. So Reach not able to successfully pull off that counterattack, and doesn't take out one of OOV's bases in return for the one that he lost. And so that's actually pretty bad here now. And then look at this spot here. He's actually trying to take this base on the right side, but it's just so close to OOV's third. OOV can just run it's just such a small little hop, skip, and a jump to get over there to attack Reach. And oh, he's just running in with her. We're trying to do some mind drag into the, oh, that was so close. It was so close. And that, in fact, it looks like some mines might have actually hit those Goliaths. He's running in Zealots again, this time with the carriers overhead as well. So the Goliaths are actually attacking the intercept. It's beautiful storms all over a bunch of the Goliaths, killing the only tank in the vicinity as well. And he's actually following up with the carriers and the Dragoons. Is Reach going to take this game right now? No, he is not. There are tank reinforcements behind there. They're going to siege up in time to push back those Dragoons. And the carriers have taken some damage as well, by the way, but they are staying healthy, and we're probably going to see another few carriers joining them very soon. And part of this, as we're seeing there, is that Reach is posturing here, going on, putting this pressure on in order to take more bases. The Zealots are getting in awfully close to those tanks. The carriers are attacking the tanks directly, so that if he can, because this is just a perfect combo for Reach here. He's going in and attacking with the carriers first, so the Goliaths don't attack the Zealots. Then he attacks with the Zealots, so that the Zealots can get closer to the tanks because of the Goliaths not attacking them. And then he also attacks the tanks with the carriers, taking out the tanks, making it so that it's that much easier for the Zealots to get in there and getting close, and also being able to add the fire from behind of the Dragoons. Now his army is actually pretty small though. He doesn't actually have like a ton of Dragoons. They've been slowly whittled down over the course of this, and it's starting to become mostly his carriers. And now the carrier comes in, he's going to pick off that other last tank. There's no tanks left, just a bunch of Goliaths. But Reach has been spending so much money on the Zealots, which have been suiciding in, and on the carriers, that he actually doesn't have a very large ground army to back it up. If Reach had a dozen goons still behind those carriers, he could overpower the third base there. But the Goliaths are actually, you know, they're not as good against Dragoons, you know, especially in even numbers, but they're not bad either. So if he has a bunch more Goliaths than Reach has units, he can actually still push them back, and he has made more tanks here. Is he going to lose them right now, though? Again, every time he makes tanks, the carriers just come in and pick them off, and he doesn't quite have the Goliath count to really challenge those carriers hard enough. But the Dragoons are all dead, so can he push through regardless? Just with Goliaths, it looks like he probably doesn't quite have enough Goliaths right now, but if he can get another shift of Goliaths, another group coming in as reinforcements, if he adds maybe 8 more Goliaths to that group, he would be able to challenge the carriers. But again, now we have some Dragoons being added to the mix. It's a tug of war. It's a back and forth knife fight where you're each trying to add the element to your army that is going to help you defeat the other element of the other person's army, and they're both having to macro like crazy in order to meet this demand, but also macro intelligently and make the correct units that will be what they need to defeat what's left of the opponent's army. But here's the thing, these carriers, he's up to like 6 or 7, maybe 8 carriers, and that might just be too strong. And Reach is now overpowering this position. Oov has had to fall back. He needs to be careful he doesn't lose those Templar to the mines. He's attack moved the Templar, and oh, did he actually just storm some mines just to try and make sure that they were taken out? The Templar getting in here close. Can he storm some SCVs? He's going for the Goliaths. Beautiful storms! Reach has just absolutely perfect storms this game, but his carriers don't have any Dragoons to back them up now. They might have gotten too close, and he actually loses a carrier, almost loses another one. Oov actually comm scanning to kill off the observers as well. The Charon boosters make it so easy for those Goliaths to pick them off. And look at this, he's actually running these Goliaths, suiciding them into this base in order to pick off the observers, so that the carriers can't, well, so that anything can't just, you know, take out the mines. He can continue using mines, but I think his minefield is gone. So, you know, in this tug of war, Reach is slowly, I feel, barely trying to pull Oov closer to that middle. And every time they have an engagement, Reach comes out a little bit further ahead, and now he's actually threatening this side base. If he takes out this army, then he can take out that extra base and start rampaging the side bases, and that will be it for Oov. Can Oov hold on here? He's desperately trying. He's running in vultures to plant mines right on top of the Dragoons, and it looks like he is able to push up another beautiful storm. This time Oov, though, is in a good position to walk through it and start attacking it. Has he overextended with his carriers again? He does! He loses a carrier! Oh no, that is really bad. And again, the Zealots coming in to defend against those Goliaths at just a moment too late. This is the second time in a row that he's overextended a tiny bit with those carriers. Lost one, and then the reinforcements came in to protect just a moment too late. And so he could be up 3 carriers right now to what he has, which would be a lot better. In fact, it looks like he's not really producing carriers that much because we haven't seen new carriers added to that mix recently. And oh, here comes him again with the Templar, going with another storm. It's interesting, he's actually not even storming. He feels he's so close to victory that he can storm the Goliath instead of the Econ that's right there. A free storm on the SCVs, and instead he's going for the Goliath, saying if I could just kill off these last few Goliaths, I can push out, I can push in and take out this base with all the Dragoons on the low ground. Is he able to do it though? There's just, OOV is fighting, just barely fighting things back. There's just the one tank protecting. The tank goes down to the Zealots. He's got Dragoons in there as well. Is this going to be enough? Does Reach have a ground force coming in from behind this right now? If he does at this moment, he can take this base. If he doesn't, if it's still 10 seconds behind, then OOV is going to be able to retake this position and try and hold this third again. And he might even take out more carriers again. Carriers down to very low health there. At least the shields are gone. It's actually hard to tell exactly how many. And now, this is what I was talking about. If he takes that spot, he can take out the bases on the side. He actually abandons taking out the command center to come back here and fight with these Dragoons. A little bit surprising there. Possibly being a little bit too man-tossed for his own good, basically. It might have been a little bit better tactically to just take out the side base, fall back and regroup from him, but instead he says, no, I am the man-toss. I am aggressive, and I'm going to go in and attack. And it's a style that works for him. It's not just, you know, a joke. It's actually a really good style to just keep up the aggression, because now OOV cannot keep building up the tank count. He can't, and he's actually going to be able to take out that tank as well. If the Terran could get enough tanks in play, then they become a little bit impervious to attack, and Reach is just not letting up. He's continuing to do attack after attack after attack. He's going in here attacking the natural expansion, which is distance mining from all those SCVs that were on the right side of the map, and that command center got killed. He's taken out 2 command centers now, and that might be it, actually. That might be the tipping point, because OOV took out that one base on the left side a while ago, but it's been back up, I believe. And so Reach has so many bases. It's I think he's just too far ahead economically. He needs to be careful he doesn't lose those carriers, though. And he does lose another carrier, it looks like. That is not good at all. But is he going to win the long game regardless? Because he's taken out 2 of OOV's bases. And, of course, OOV was having some difficulty mining in that middle base for a little bit there. We didn't see a ton of SCVs there. Just sitting in Zealots, and now he's going over to the left side. How did OOV get away with that base? How did OOV take that left base, which is like right next to Reach's middle base? That's kind of crazy that he has that base. There's actually, it's kind of like in between the 2 bases that Reach has. Actually, maybe Reach never did rebuild that bottom left base. Maybe he just took the right side instead. But in any case, Reach able to harass this base, is going for the command center again. I don't think OOV is going to try and take out the carriers. And in the meantime, though, OOV has pushed up the right side of the map. He has look at this Terran macro. He's macroed up despite not having an economy. Somehow he's able to get a bunch more units regardless. But here's the thing: he's now lost that other command center as well. And OOV is moving in here. He's going to attack this. What is this, 7th base of Reach? This right side base in the middle, which Reach has taken, and he might take it out. But right now, OOV is not mining, and I think that's what Reach is thinking. He stopped the battle in the middle to go and take out those extra command centers, which, like I said, might have been the tactical best move. And it's the thing is, even if OOV has enough units to defeat that right side base in the middle there, that we're seeing the battle taking place around right now, even if he takes that out, Reach knows that OOV is not mining almost anywhere on the map. So he can afford to lose a base because he's mining at 2 or 3 others. And it will still win the longer macro game, even against the ultimate Terran macro player. But here is the push, though, moving out for OOV. OOV has secured his 3rd base in the middle for now, so he does have some mining going on at that base. He's trying to rebuild that top right base as well, I believe. But can Reach resist here? And look at this. OOV is such a macro king that as soon as that command center died, he just built a new one in the same spot. Just says, well, you know, you're gonna have to kill it again. But he is gonna kill it again. Those SCVs are distance mining. He's gonna kill off the constructing. I don't think he even canceled that command center actually. So Reach is gonna be able to take out that base. And Reach, I mean, OOV can't afford to bring his units over to the left side of the map. It's so interesting that the way this map is constructed, those carriers can just hop back and forth between the 2 battlefields. On the left with the expansions, and on the right where the battle is happening, very, very easily back and forth, left to right, because it's all so close by air. It's incredibly far by ground, though, so the Goliaths cannot jump back and forth between left and right. OOV is forced to focus on one side or the other, and he's focusing on the right side, trying to push down that map. And he may have actually taken out one of the bases, and he is actually going to try and take out another base here. Dark Templars running in after these tanks, and oh, look at this, the High Templar run in and get some beautiful storms. They're actually going to morph as an Archon right next to the tank. Never going to finish morphing though, but is this counterattack actually going to work? OOV is actually pushing back and taking out, this is turning into some sort of crazy like macro / base trade scenario. Both players trying to take out the side expansions of the other, and Reach takes out one command center. He's going to take out another as well, and if he does, I didn't actually realize that OOV had 2 other bases mining on the left side of the map there, but now he's got 0. Now OOV is 100% only mining from that middle base, possibly distance mining or something from that upper right side base. But it's not looking good at all for OOV's macro. But he needs, Reach needs to be careful not to lose these carriers. He needs to be careful not to lose those carriers. It's actually crucial that he doesn't lose a couple more carriers like he has been losing carriers previously. But it looks like Reach, here's the thing, Reach has cleared out. He cleared out those attacks on the right side. He lost a couple bases, but he cleared out the army. And here's the counterattack. He takes out the command center on the left. Okay, so actually OOV had taken that bottom left base that he initially killed with those Goliaths a long time ago. And another beautiful storm. The storms this game have just been absolutely epic. The storms have been one of the MVPs of this game because at crucial moments, those storms have softened up the entire ground army to make sure that OOV cannot go in for a push. But here's OOV's other ground army pushing down the left side of the map, trying to push back those carriers, and they're going to go all the way in. Now, here's the thing. Where is Reach mining right now? Reach might not be mining either. This middle base is now actually mined out, so it's not actually going to matter too much. But this is a sizable force of Goliaths. But there are speed zealots underneath. He doesn't have any tanks to deal with the ground army, which is significant. He's got a bunch of zealots in there, and the carriers as well. The Goliaths are attacking the interceptors a lot, but I think there might be too many dragoons underneath the swarm of interceptors. And it looks like OOV is going to get pushed back. OOV is going to be pushed back right now. We're seeing them point to the upgrades. I believe he has +2 shields and +2 on the air weapons as well, is I think what we're seeing there. So very strong upgrades there. I'll have to try and keep an eye out if they point to the upgrades for the Terran player as well, for OOV. But look at this. OOV forced to distance mine on the bottom left base. I don't even, they must be going all the way across the map. And now he's forced to send in vultures. To deal with the ground army. But the Goliaths, I mean, vultures can't fire up at all these interceptors. He needs to be consistently building Goliaths in order to deal with the carriers, but he's building vultures instead in order to deal with the dragoons and the zealots, and it's just not the right mix. It's not the right composition. I think Reach is going to be able to take this game pretty soon. Only a handful of Goliaths left. 2 Goliaths left. There might be a few more coming in from behind, but I don't know if they're going to be enough. We might even see GG any moment as soon as those last Goliaths die out, because I don't know what OOV can do right now. He's basically not mining. He's distance mining at a couple spots, and we're seeing Reach. They're pointing out that Reach is actually mining, not a ton, but mining from 2 bases. And he's actually camped out these carriers on top of these distance mining SCVs, which I don't think OOV even realized were there. Okay, OOV now counterattacking with some vultures down here, planting down some mines to stop the ground army. But what is even going on? What are these probes doing? Are they going to start a new base? Okay, he is starting a new base on that left side, which used to be OOV's, which is kind of crazy because now there's a vulture army in between Reach's bases. His new mainish base, I guess secondary main, is on the right side of the map, so he's still producing units from that right side. So having units outside of his main is not too big of a deal, but he's going to lose some of these probes to these Goliaths, actually. Carriers, what are these carriers actually doing? We're not even seeing what they're attacking, but I think they're just picking off random extra buildings that were lying around. But yeah, I don't know what OOV can do here. He's not, I don't think OOV is mining at all. I'm just having trouble. Maybe at the top right base. Actually, I can kind of point right here. He might be mining there. Oh, another beautiful storm run on the tanks. Lets the dragoons polish them off. And I mean, it's a cute, cheeky little spot there. But how does OOV have? I mean, this is why he's called the cheater turn. How does OOV still have an army? He's not mining. He's been losing all of his units. How does he still have so many Goliaths? This is insane. Looks like some storms going down on top of those Goliaths. He keeps losing the Templar, but he gets off good storms before the Templars actually die. Another great storm. Again, it's not killing those Goliaths, but it's softening them up nice and soft so those Dragoons can just polish them off. And the carriers, of course, as well. And in the meantime, those Vultures did kill things off there. And now the Vultures are actually going to come up and rejoin. Is OOV going to scrape himself back into this? Is he going to have enough of an army to hold Reach back from finishing him off while he rebuilds some bases on the left side of the map? It looks like he's trying to rebuild in the right side as well, in the middle. Kind of a crazy spot to be building, but I guess also a good defensible spot compared to where his rally point is. So there's that. But it looks like in the meantime, though, the extra units of Reach have killed off all the Vultures, killed off a lot of those Goliaths. Somehow OOV still coming up with another squad of Goliaths to deal with this. This is insane. This is insane. You can see the focus on both of these players' faces as the camera pans to them for a moment as they're just absolutely focused. It does not look like either player is thinking about giving up. OOV looked maybe a little bit more look of desperation on his face right there. He is scraping together a bare bones army to try and deal with Reach right now. But Reach has so many carriers. So many carriers, and it looks like we're seeing Reach's first-person view. Unfortunately, his camera is over the top, so we can't see how many carriers are in his control group. But it looks like there are several. It looks like we're up to six or seven, maybe, or something along those lines. And he's now trying to clear out the mines so his ground army can reunite with these carriers. Rocking in with these Templar. And here's the thing, I think OOV could probably do a better job of targeting down those Templar if he attacked them first. Another... Oh my god, the storms have been just absolutely epic. Absolutely epic this game. Spreading them out perfectly so that they're coating. He's not doubling up anywhere. He's coating the Terran army with storms every single time. It's just making them so vulnerable to being finished off. You know, the storm, one storm is not going to kill a Terran unit, but if he gets those storms on every Terran unit, then every Terran unit is so low that it can be easily killed off by the carriers and by the ground army. OOV has somehow completed a command center. He's completed a command center and he's mining from it on the right side of the map, right outside the extra bases that Reach has. What is going on? What is going on? He's actually mining from it. This is crazy. It is going to get taken out now, but I think OOV has actually taken that left side base now in the meantime. Again, for like the third or fourth time. He has. He's taken the left side base. What is going on? This is crazy. And you can actually see him Maynarding some, moving some SCVs over there. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. I still think that Reach has a major advantage right now, because as we can see, we'll hold that thought. Oh, no. Oh, those probes are piling up on that mineral patch for the tanks to slaughter them. And Reach is actually forced to retreat a little bit over here from this middle. He's trying to push in for the kill. Where are the carriers? The carriers are coming over here. Okay. Oh, that was Reach's... Okay, I said Reach took the inside left base. OOV took the outside left base again. This is absolutely... This is like... This is insane. Usually in a game you have a definitive kind of mark of a line. Oh, he's going to lose another carrier, by the way. Oh, he lost another carrier. Now those carriers are kind of a side army. He almost loses the second one in a row. I don't think that's the bulk of his forces. He's got to have more carriers somewhere. If he somehow off camera lost all 5 or 6 of his carriers, that would be an epic fail. But I don't think that's the case. I have to feel like he must have some carriers around still somewhere. But OOV has snuck this left side base, and there is the GG from OOV. There's the GG from OOV. Actually, a little bit surprising that he fought so hard and so long and still had a mining base and still tapped out. But I think he was finally reading the writing on the wall and, you know, not able to kill off that left side base of Reach. Reach just all over the map, and that was just bonkers. Just bonkers. Oops. Accidentally restarted the VOD, but that was just absolutely crazy. I mean, what I was trying to get at here is you can see, like, usually there's a line where, you know, one player has stuff on one side of the line and the other player has stuff on the other side of the line. And instead we had OOV taking bases here and Reach taking bases here and here. And it was just like all over the map. It was just absolute insanity. So Reach, who has not been successful against OOV, the only Terran that he has not been relatively successful against in the last year, Reach takes game number 1 against OOV. OOV finally tapping out there. Absolutely bonkers game. Absolutely epic. Oh my god, the carriers everywhere, the storms on all the units, the back and forth between the carriers killing the tanks, the Goliaths killing the carriers, the Dragoons going after the Goliaths, but then more tanks coming in to kill the Dragoons, the storms going off on everything, the vultures going off mines on everything. It was just... my mind is blown. And guess what? We've got more of this coming up. This is a best of 5 series, so we've got more of this absolutely highest level in 2004. TVP action coming up for you. Wow. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching. GG. Game number 1 goes to Reach.